Good morning. I am Hema Priya, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Today I am going to start with the course Design of Steel Structures, which has a course code of U18 PCCE 604. So first of all, before entering into the subject, let us know what is the name of the subject. Design of steel structures. So in that, it is clear that the structure is to be constructed completely with the material steel. Yeah, that's clear. Next, coming to the word design. What do you mean by the word design? In the case of design, we are going to decide the size of the section, cross section of the section, material, grade of material, all those things. Everything involves in design. That is what we call it as design, which we are going to decide the entire details of the section to be provided. Coming to steel structures. Before entering into that, let us compare steel structures with reinforced concrete structures. Reinforced concrete structures, we all are aware that it is constructed monolithically. Monolithically in the sense, column, beam, slab together cast monolithically at a time, and the load transfer also done monolithically. Whereas in the case of steel structures, it is not cast monolithically, whereas it has to be connected through an external connecting agent or external connecting element. It can be a bolt or a weld or rivet, whatever is available or required. So it has to be connected. And also the load transfer pattern is done through the connecting component. Load transfer pattern is done through the connecting component. In the case of reinforced concrete structures, the load is transferred straight away. From the beam, the load is transferred to the column. Whereas here in the case of steel structures, from the beam, the load is transferred to the column through the connecting component. So, this is how the importance of connection in steel structure plays. So let us enter into the introduction, which covers with the necessity, importance, and requirements of connections. So in the case of necessity, what is the basic necessity for connections? First basic necessity is that about the length limitations. So as I was telling earlier, we compared with reinforced concrete. In that case, all the reinforced concrete elements are cast inside. For the required length, it can be cast continuously throughout its required length. Whereas in the case of steel structures, it is not like that. It has to be manufactured at the workshop or at industry. Later on, it has to be transported to the required site and then it has to be erected. So for all these process, if the length of the member is too large, it will be difficult for all these kind of process. So you have to limit the length. Later on, it has to be connected for the required length of the section. So that is the basic necessity of the connection. Second thing is about the transportation constraint, and third one is about the size of the structure. And next topic is about importance of connections. What are all the basic importance of connections? First thing is structure strength depends on connections. Next one is connection failure to be avoided before member failure. And the third one is the full strength of the member is to be utilized. And last thing we are going to discuss about the requirement of connection design. It has to be designed, as I was telling earlier, it has to transfer the load. The connection should be able to transfer the loads from one element to the other element. So what are the basic requirements in the case of connection design? First basic requirement is strength, stiffness, and ductility. Second thing is deflection control, stability under service load. And last one is large deflection and ductility at ultimate loads. Before entering into the design, let us know about the properties of the material to be used. The material whatever we are going to use throughout is steel. So let us know the properties of steel. What are all the properties? Physical, chemical and mechanical. In the case of physical, basically we come to know the density. Density is nothing but Young's modulus, which is most useful to arrive the weight of the or mass of the material. And next thing is Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity, which has a range of around 2.04 to 2.18 into 10 power 5 Newton per mm square. And further, modulus of elasticity is also otherwise called as shear modulus, which is denoted by symbol capital G, which has a value ranges from 0.84 to 0.98 into 10 power 5 Newton per mm square. Finally, coefficient of thermal expansion, which is denoted by symbol alpha, and the value is 12 into 10 power minus 6 per degree centigrade. And next, coming to our chemical properties of structural steel, in that carbon, sulfur and phosphorus, the proportions are given, tabulated here. Next thing is about the mechanical properties of steel. In the case of mechanical properties, according to the size or thickness of the member, the tensile strength, yield stress, percentage of elongation is being tabulated clearly. Next one is structural steel sections. Structural steel sections. Here, by seeing this, you could see different shapes of the sections. Everywhere it has been mentioned: rolled steel I, rolled steel T, rolled steel channel, rolled steel equal angle, rolled steel unequal angle, rolled steel bulb angle, rolled steel bars, and rolled steel tubes. So everywhere you could see the name rolled steel. What is that rolled? Rolled is nothing but hot rolled sections. Hot rolled steel sections. What is that hot rolled? Steel, when being melted to the highest temperature, it will start melting and it can be formed to the required shape. It can be cast or molded to the required shape. Later on, when it is taken back to the room temperature, it will be acting as our regular steel sections. That is why it is called as hot rolled sections. And the other method of forming the structural steel sections we have is cold formed sections. These are all the basic shapes available. And moreover, rolled steel bars, that is the very common one which we are using for reinforced concrete sections. Now we'll enter into types of connections. In the types of connections, these are the very basic types of connections. First one is welded connection, bolted connection, and riveted connection. Under that welded connections, we have two types. One is fillet welding, other one is butt welding. Under bolted connections, we have bearing type and then friction type bolts. Third one is riveted connection. In that we have two kind of materials. One is mild steel and the other one is high strength steel. So let us get into different types of connections in detail. We'll start with welded connections. So pictorially, it has been clearly represented the different types of welds, fillet weld and butt welds. So you could see two connections. One is of T-shaped and the other one is being two plates being connected parallelly. One more connection is perpendicularly. In that, the green color hatched things are the welds. Green color hatched things are the welds. So easily you can identify what is fillet weld and what is butt weld. Fundamentals of welding. Process fundamentals are most important to start with welding. First of all, metallic bonding using some form of energy, heat or pressure or both. Interdiffusion between the material. It is nothing but the The basic concept of welding is nothing but the interdiffusion between the materials. Welding process. What are all the welding process? First process is heat alone. Second process is pressure alone. Third one is combined together, which we are using that in practice everywhere. So in the case of heat alone, example is gas tungsten arc welding, shielded metal arc welding, submerged arc welding. In case of pressure alone, we can go for cold welding and roll welding. This kind of welding is generally used for pressed steel or cold formed steel sections. Last one is the both pressure and heat. This is what we use it in practice. Example is resistance welding and friction welding. The basic process is gas welding, arc welding. Gas welding, the process deals with the oxyacetylene welding, simple, slow repair and maintenance works. Arc welding, which is mainly used for all kind of structural welding. So the picture you can easily see the process of metal arc welding. You could see a machine which is used for power supply, which provides power with that maximum temperature of heat arrives so that the electrode melts and being formed. Later on, when it comes back to the room temperature, it will be formed as regular steel together, and there is a electrode holder, specimen, and also a clamp. Next, coming to the joints of weld. Pictorially, everything being clearly represented. By seeing this easily, you can understand. Butt weld, parallelly, you are connecting two plates in a same parallel plane. Lap joint, one above the other. T-joint, perpendicular to each other. Corner joint, similar to the T-joint, perpendicular to each other. And these are all the common types of welds. Screw weld, fillet welds, plug welds, slot welds. By seeing the picture easily, you can understand the concept of welding. Here, light blue color hatched portion indicates the welding symbol. You can easily understand the concept by pictorial representation. Fillet weld, the most important and common weld being used for all structural elements connection. Here, fillet welding easy of fabrication and it is most adaptable, which can be done everywhere. Less precision, no special edge preparation, which is most important. You have to prepare the edge for other kinds. Throat of weld, concave and convex, both the surfaces can be arrived here. And this is a theoretical example for that. And the formula for arriving the load carrying capacity of the weld is given here. 0.7 into W into 110 for shop weld. Whereas 0.7 into W into 110 further multiplied by 0.8 for site weld. The main reason behind is for site weld, we can achieve only 80% of shop weld. Next, coming to design of butt welds. So in the case of design of butt weld, what is that? Let us see that. Direct tension or compression it can take. Direct strength, design strength same as parent material can be achieved. For full penetration, you can use the weld for entire penetration. Thickness of the weld which can be equal to the thickness of the element which is being connected. Partial penetration can be avoided. Permissible stresses can be equal to the parent material which has been connected. And as I was telling earlier, site weld only 80% of shop welds. And this is the different types of butt welds. Here also pictorially everything been clearly represented. Square butt weld, single V, double V, single bevel, double bevel, single U, double U, single J and double J. Butt weld. The thickness of connected plate for full penetration. Depth of penetration for partial penetration. Basic advantage of this butt weld is It can achieve high strength. It can give high resistance to impact as well as cyclic stresses. What are the disadvantages of butt welding? High residual stress, edge preparation and proper aligning is required here. Next, coming to merits and demerits in the case of welded connection. First, coming to merits. It can transfer the forces between elements more directly. Requires little additional elements like gussets, little additional elements. Shorter lengths of the joints. And further, most important point is no reduction in member strength due to bolt holes, etc. So if we are going for a bolted connection, you have to provide a bolt holes that can be avoided in the case of welded connection. That is a greater advantage here. And rigid connection can be easily achieved in welded connections. Coming to demerits, what are all the demerits here? It requires skilled manpower, requires special equipments, and not easy to achieve at different locations, less ductile, prone to defects and fatigue cracks under cyclic loading. That is all about welded connections. Here, some of the examples of welded connections, do's and don'ts. Poor connection and good connection comparison is there with do's and don'ts. By seeing this pictorially, you can easily identify. Two plates are being connected, green color and white color. The red color hatched portion is weld and red color arrow is force. This is the weld. Hatch, red color hatched portion is weld. You could see poor connection and weld, good connections. In the case of poor connection, only one side being welded, whereas in the case of good connections, both the sides being welded. Now we'll get into bolted connections. What are all the basic types of bolted connections? One is concentric connection, other one is moment connections. Concentric connections are nothing but bolts, force, everything being passed through the centroid of the element. That is what we call it as concentric connections. Next one is moment connections. On the other hand, we call it as eccentric connections. On the other hand, we call it as eccentric connections. Eccentricity, in the picture itself, you could easily see the force is away from the element. The distance, how much it is away, that we call it as eccentricity. The force into the eccentricity, or that is the force into the perpendicular distance, we call it as moment. Next, coming to types of connections based on the type of force. One is single shear, double shear. Here you could see the difference. First thing is lap joint. That is one above the other in single joint, single shear. Same lap joint, one above the other in double shear. Here coming to butt joint with single shear and double shear. You could easily see the difference. In the case of single shear, with the same plane, the plates are being connected with the help of a single plate additionally being connected above or below. That is what we call it as single shear. Here in the case of double shear, you could see two plates at top and bottom being additionally used for connecting both the plates at same plane. Shear connections. Next is shear connections. Pictorially, shear connections have been clearly explained. Now, bolt specifications. What kind of bolt? That is what is the grade of bolt? Strength of the bolt. FU. F is nothing but strength. F stands for strength of the bolt and U is the ultimate strength and Y is the yield strength of the bolt. So ultimate strength of bolt is 400 Newton per mm square and yield strength of the bolt is 0.6 times of the ultimate strength of the bolt. And what are the types of bolts we have? That is black, turned and fitted, high strength friction grip bolts. These are all the basic types of bolts available. So first black bolts. Non-precision grade. There is no particular grade for black bolts. Usually it will be having a grade of 4.6 and the surface will be very rough, not proper bearing. Ductile and cheap erection and temporary structures it can be used. Next type is turned and fitted. For this type of bolt, we have a grade of range 4.6 to 8.8. Almost we have a close tolerance to the drilled holes. Shank surface finished by higher diameter, better bearing. Comparatively, when compared to the black bolts, it is somewhat better. Further, last type is HSFG bolts, high strength friction grip bolts. Here the grade starts from 8.8 and which has a range up to 10.9. Less ductile, tightened with wrench, resisted by friction, and it has excellent capacity under dynamic and fatigue loads. This is the force transfer mechanism for bolts. Force transfer mechanism. Two kinds of bolts. One is bearing connection and other one is friction connection. For these two kinds, what are all the force transfer mechanism? You could see pictorially it can be represented like this. And major thing here in the bolt is two factors. One is the efficiency of the bolt and the other one is failure modes of the bolt. Based on what categories or what principles we decide the efficiency of bolt. Based on the bearing capacity of the plate, based on the tearing capacity of the plate, and based on the shearing capacity of the bolt, we decide the efficiency of the entire joint. Here the formula for arriving each capacity is given here. FBR, D, T, F, T, B, D, T, everything is given here. So you could see what is that. D, small d refers to the diameter of the bolt and T refers to the thickness of the plate. F suffix T refers to the allowable tensile strength of plate and FBR refers to allowable bearing stress. F suffix S refers to allowable stress in shear. And these are all the failure modes of bolts. First failure mode is hole bearing. Hole bearing. If the force applied is greater than the designed force, then this kind of failure will occur. Next one is hole tear out. Tear out. You could see in the picture the plate getting teared off. This mainly happens because of the improper edge distance. Because of the improper edge distance. And last one is the bolt shear off. Shear off. This also occurs because of the additional shear force. So here you could see bolt in tension. Which has a diameter, shank, here you could see the bolt parts, thread, shank. The tensile strength of the bolt is calculated exactly at this zone. And this is the bolt's strength for bearing bolts and high strength friction grip bolts. Now coming finally to the merits and demerits of bolted connections. In the case of bearing type, it is easy to install even at different locations. It is economical and does not require highly skilled manpower. The demerits are slips causes flexible joint and joint size will be larger. In the case of friction type of bolts, The merits are rigidity of the connection is high, better fatigue performance. The main demerits are it is expensive due to material and installation labor. It requires skilled manpower, requires better inspection. Now the last type of connection, basic connection, is riveted connection, very older connections. Now it is not been used in practice for the past 10 to 15 years. It has not been used in practice. In older days, you could see this type of connections. Even now also, in the very older railway stations, you could see this kind of connections. So we'll see what is this first of all. Steel bolts with one side head are heated to 980 degrees centigrade and inserted into bolt holes. Hammering done from the other side to form the head. Hammering done from other side to form the head. Highly labor intensive, very slow process, and safety problems for laborers also occurs. What is a rivet? Piece of round steel forged in place to connect two or more than two steel members together is known as rivets. Methods of riveting. What are all the methods of rivets available? Power driven rivets, hand driven rivets, and field rivets. These are the some of the types of rivets with different heads. Snap headed, pan headed, pan headed with tapering neck, round counter sunk head, counter sunk head. And what about the holes, rivet holes? Under that, we have two methods. One is by punching and the other one is by drilling. Important terms we use in riveting. Nominal diameter of the rivet, gross diameter of the rivet, pitch of rivet, gauge of rivet, gross area of rivet, rivet line, and staggered pitch. So pictorially, you can easily see the riveted connection. One side, it has a head, like how the bolt has. Other side, it is also formed like a head by hammering with a degree of 980 degrees centigrade. So now you could see the pictorial representation of riveted connection. That is what I was telling. Even now also in the very olderly constructed steel structure, you could see the riveted connection. Next type of connections is about the semi-rigid connections or shear connections. Semi-rigid connections or shear connections. This is what, by seeing this, you can easily understand that a column and beam is being connected with the help of plates and bolts. So what is happening here? The red color is the column. The gray color is the additional plate used for connecting. The red color plate is being welded with the column and further it is bolted with the beam which is in green color, right? Same way at the bottom also you have a plate, gray color is the plate and that is being welded to the column with the help of a bracket additionally. Further that plate is being bolted with the beam for connection. This type of connections we call it as shear connections. This type of connections we call it as shear connections. And this is the second type of connections, rigid connections or moment connections. Here also you could see a column is being connected with the beam with the help of plates, bolts and weld. All the three together to form a rigid connection. Rigid connection is also otherwise called as moment connections. Rigid connections are also otherwise called as moment connections. This is the stiffener plate additionally used and this is also been connected with the help of weld. Further, coming to the moment connections or rigid connections, you could see the beam is directly connected without any gap or a joint. Whereas here in the case of shear connections, the gray color plate, you could see additional gusset plate is connected to the column, whereas the green color is the beam that is not connected straight away to the beam, which has a gap. And this type of connections, we call it as shear connections or semi-rigid connections. Shear connections or semi-rigid connection. Here it is directly connected. It is directly connected, and that is what we call it as rigid connections or moment connections, which restrains moments at the edges and which is there to resist both moment as well as shear forces. It is there to resist both the connections such as moment as well as shear forces. And these are all about the connections. And as I was talking earlier, connection plays a vital role in steel structures. Connection plays a vital role in steel structures because the load mainly transferred through the connections in the case of steel structures. And basically the advantage of the steel structure is also about it can be easily connected as well as it can be easily dismantled. Can be easily connected as well as it can be dismantled and reused at the required place somewhere else also. And that is also a major advantage of steel structures. Coming to disadvantage, we can talk about disadvantage. The most important disadvantage is this, that about the corroding, rusting. For that, we have so many coating, protective coatings, but still 100% there is no recovery against corrosion. And moreover, the major disadvantage is about the cost. It is highly costlier. It is not costly also, it is costlier than reinforced concrete structure. That is also a greater disadvantage. And second thing, temperature. It is conductivity of heat, right? So in that case also we have certain disadvantages in steel structures when compared to reinforced concrete structures. But conventionally in India, we are not using steel structures, whereas in other countries, there are a lot of steel structures being used till now. India, we have not yet started using 100% steel structures, whereas only for industrial buildings, we go for steel structures, which is being provided with a truss shaped structures. That's all. For all other remaining structures, we go for our conventional reinforced concrete structures. So this is all about the connections, which covers the first unit. Second unit fully covers with the tension member, and we will continue with that. Thank you.